Hi everyone, this is Siddharth Desai. I'm coming to you a couple of days after India's victory at Melbourne in the Boxing Day Test match. It was indeed a memorable win for India and probably one of the all time great Indian victories in Test cricket. Especially after being 36 all out in Adelaide, what a comeback it was. You know, we we were down in the dumps, 36 not out. It can't get worse than that. And we didn't have a lot of our main players. We didn't have Virat Kohli. We didn't have Mohammad Shami. Ishant Sharma was not there. Rohit Sharma was not there. So we had two youngsters, two debutants playing their first test match, and the way the team came together and showed character in order to win this test match was simply remarkable. Now, India has had a history of some great test wins in the past, but I think this will go right up there among the top two or three test wins of all time for India. And in world cricket also, I think it's one of the great turnarounds, one of the greatest comebacks in the history of Test cricket. The chief architect of this win was indeed Ajinkya Rahane, the stand-in Indian captain. I think the way Ajinkya Rahane led the team throughout the Test match was remarkable. He made some inspired changes. For example, playing Ravindra Jadeja ahead of a regular batsman, a like-for-like replacement for Virat Kohli would have been KL Rahul, but Ravindra Jadeja was preferred over him. So that was an inspired change, which paid off both with bat and the ball. And don't forget that catch which Ravindra Jadeja took in the first innings of Matthew Wade as well, which needed a good fielder to be there because there was some distraction with another fielder coming towards him as well. Other than that, the way he handled the bowlers, his tactics, field placements was simply outstanding. I think the other great thing that he got the team to do was to play together as a unit, to support each other, to show that intent, to show that character, to show the purpose, that right attitude in order to win the test match. You saw the entire team rallying and standing up for one another, helping and supporting each other throughout the test match. There were other leaders too who emerged and who were given their space by Ajinkya Rahane, like Ravichandran Ashwin and Jasprit Bumrah with the bowlers, especially with a debutant like Siraj. You could see how he was guided along by the captain as well as the leaders from the bowling attack in his debut test match as well. And the other plus point for India was certainly Shubman Gill, who made an outstanding debut. I think he's looks to be a very solid, extremely talented player right at the top of the order for India. Played some great shots, got the scoreboard ticking right at the beginning. And that was very important because when you're playing bowlers of that quality, you really need the runs to be put on the board. You really need those few boundaries to be struck right at the beginning when the field is up in order to relieve that pressure, because if you just go batting defensive, India found out in the first test match that can be a bit of a challenging option to take. Some of the other outstanding performances, obviously, from the bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah once again standing out as the pick of the bowlers in both the innings. We know Jasprit Bumrah loves bowling at Melbourne, and he enjoyed bowling over here as well. The other thing that stood out about Jasprit Bumrah was, as I said before, his willingness to be a leader, and him being given that opportunity to lead the bowling attack and to be a part of that think tank, him along with Ravichandran Ashwin to be a part of that think tank in order to strategize and come up with tactics for this particular test match. Once again, Ravichandran Ashwin was brought in to bowl very early in the first session, probably in the first 15 overs of the test match. How often does that happen, right? In a country like Australia, how often do you see spinners operating in the very first innings? And probably in the first half, just before the drinks break as well. But we saw Ravichandran Ashwin do that. There was a great amount of turn for him throughout especially in the first half, in the first innings of the game. and his control and his bowling, especially to Steve Smith, it looks like he's just got Steve Smith's number for this series, and we just hope that continues for the remainder of the Test series as well. But he bowled simply tremendously. His ball to get out Labuschagne in the first innings was awesome. He came around the wicket, got the drift away from the right-hander, and then the turn, which which bamboozled the right-hander Labuschagne there, and his wicket to get his ball to get Steve Smith caught in the leg slip was also amazing. I think that was good strategy over there as well, to have that leg slip in place for Steve Smith, which paid off in the first innings. Now, where do we go from here, right? So what we've seen in this Test match is that even if we are missing some of the top players, like we were missing Virat Kohli, obviously the captain, and all the players that I mentioned before, but also Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav got injured in the second innings. But in spite of that, the way the team pulled together and played above their weight, kicked well above but the way the team came together and played together as a unit and helped each other out and simply performed to their potential and probably above their potential as well was outstanding to see. A lot of credit must go to Ajinkya Rahane to give that freedom to the players to express themselves, to come out and do their stuff, to give them the confidence and also get good performances out of them. The other good aspect was, when we were batting and Ajinkya Rahane, we talked about him as the captain, but what about his batting, right? I think it is one of the best innings that he played for India in the history of the game. The 112 in that first innings in the conditions which were overcast on a pitch which was seaming around against a bowling attack that Australia has to be, and the circumstances under which it was scored. India being 64 for 3 under attack, and after the debacle of Adelaide, I think that innings will probably go down as one of the all-time greatest Indian innings in the history of Test cricket. And credit to Ajinkya Rahane for the way he struck it out there. He spent the time getting used to the conditions, to the pitch, to the bowling, etc. And later on, playing his shots and getting the momentum and scoring those crucial runs for India. What was also important to notice in that particular innings was his constant guidance to every batsman who was playing along with him. So when Hanuma Vihari and Ajinkya Rahane were batting, or when Rishabh Pant joined him, or later on when he was batting with Ravindra Jadeja, you could constantly see the guidance, the advice that he was passing on to these players and trying to get them to perform to their potential. It is one thing that you get your score, but it is the other thing to get the others to bat along with you as well. Because as a captain, you need to get the other players to play to their potential. You need to give them that confidence so that they can all play to perform and deliver the results for you. So that was simply outstanding to see. So I think going forward, if Ajinkya Rahane can put a repeatable framework around everything that he did in this particular Test match, his captaincy, his batting, his strategy, the way he let other leaders flower as well, the way he let the youngsters, the debutants flower and managed them, guided them along. I think if he can put a repeatable framework around it, and if he can repeat the whole thing in the next couple of Test matches, I really think that we have a winner on our hands over here. If Ajinkya Rahane can be the Ajinkya Rahane of Melbourne, in Sydney, as well as in Brisbane in the next couple of Test matches, I don't see why we can't even win this particular series. It's still a long way to go, but I think we do have a very good chance of winning this particular series as well. Also, the next Test match is going to be played in Sydney. There was some confusion, there was some doubt as to whether the next Test match will be going ahead as planned in Sydney, but I think that has been settled for now. So we will see the players taking the field in Sydney. Although the weather forecast doesn't look too encouraging. Remember, we have had a few washouts in Sydney. The last time these two teams played against each other, early 2019, that test match got washed out as well due to rains. So the rains in Sydney in early January have been a bit of a pattern in the last few years, and this forecast suggests something similar. Let's hope we get a result in Sydney and the match doesn't get washed out. But for now, the forecast is looking a little bit tentative. So we'll see how that goes. But I think India has a great present given to it by Ajinkya Rahane and the team over here in Melbourne to end 2020, which has been a challenging year for everyone. So I hope the last few moments of 2020 go well for everyone, and wish you a very happy new year. And I'll talk to you from the other side, from the new year, and we'll talk about the next test match at Sydney at that time. Thank you so much for your time, and please like, share and subscribe to my channel if you like the content. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.